Standard form is a way we can write out numbers, and it's got three main uses. We can use it first of all to write out very large numbers. We can use it to write out very small numbers. And probably most importantly, we can use it to represent the number of significant figures. The notation used in standard form is as follows. If I want to write out the number, let's say, let's get a pen first, 2345 in standard form, I would write it as 2.345 multiplied by 10 to the power 3. So in standard form notation, we have a number between 1 and 10 multiplied by a power of 10. In this case, 10 to the power 3 is equal to 1000, and because the first digit in our number here is in the thousands column, we multiply it by 1000. So 2.345 multiplied by 1000 is 2345. This is how we write our numbers in standard form. So using this notation is really useful for writing out very large numbers. So in this instance here, we've got the distance between the Earth and the Sun is 149,000,000,000,000 meters. Well, that's quite a lot to write out, but I could write this in standard form. And to do this, what I would do is I would write out a number between 1 and 10. In this case, I would go with 1.49, and now I need to multiply this by a power of 10. Now, because I would have had a decimal place here, and if I have to, how many times do I have to jump it so it ends up being here? And that would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I could write this large number out as 1.49 times 10 to the power of 11. Similarly, I can use standard form to write out a very small number. So if we look at something like the diameter of a flu virus, I could say that it is 0.0, so let's start that again, 0.000000081 meters, or I could write it out in standard form. Using the same notation, I need to have a number between 1 and 10, so that would, in this case, would be 8.1, and now I'm going to multiply it by 10 to the power of something, and because my decimal point I'm going to move backwards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. I'm going to write that as times 10 to the power of minus 8 meters. And now we've written a small number out in standard form. Finally, we're going to look at the use of standard form to represent significant figures. If we take this very large number here, which happens to be the speed of light, and I was to ask you, how many significant figures is this written out to? Because it's written out just normally, it could be just to one significant figure, or it could be to 2, or it could be to 3, or 4, or 5, etc., etc. However, if I write this out in standard form, I could see how many significant figures I'm writing it to. So, if I was to write it as one significant figure, I'd write it as 3 times 10 to the 8 meters per second, and that's one significant figure. If I was to write it to 2, I would write it as 3.0 times 10 to the 8 meters per second, and that's two significant figures. If I was to write it to 3, it would be 3.00 times 10 to the 8 meters per second. And if I was to write it to 4 significant figures, that would then go to be 2.998 times 10 to the 8 meters per second. And that gives me to 4 significant figures. So, by including the extra decimal places, I can show how many significant figures my speed of light is to. Whereas if I just wrote it out like this, well, this would actually be to 1, to 2, or to 3 significant figures.